Happy Halloween, everybody. It's a Thursday night, which means it's SEC Powers Hour. We had to push the starting time back just a little bit because that Halloween fun had to happen. Me and the girls went out, had a good time, but now we're here to talk a little SEC football. Show is in the house. What you got going on, Show?
I'm trying to keep my head upright because this helmet weighs about 80 pounds or I'm really out of shape. I don't know. But, I am the ghost of Chuck Long's NFL quarterback career past, I guess, of the Detroit Lions. I got my blue and silver on there and, got the big old face mask. This helmet's huge. On my
it looks huge. You say it's we were talking about that before the show started. You forget, and that looks like one of those old school helmets too. It's not the one with all the cutouts in it. So you forget how heavy those jokers actually are. That looks like it's a beast.
It is. I don't know if I can keep this up all hour long, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I have faith in you. I believe that you can get her done. That's what I believe.
Get her done.
Well, like I said, it's Halloween. So we went out there. We had a good time. We got out with the family a little bit. We went as the Belchers this year. Bob Belcher and the Belchers. Tina, Louise, and Linda. That's good stuff.
The Belchers. Yeah. Well, my kids are
Bob's
different
Burgers,
ages.
Man.
Bob's Burgers. Yeah. My kids are different ages than yours. So I got one at a Christian carnival Halloween thing that we have going on in town. And then I got one that's out at the movies with his Mimi watching Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. So, that sounds like some good Halloween fun right there. That's good stuff. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys had a little bit of the spooky here on Halloween as we talk about the SEC. It's not a huge slate of games this week, Joe, but there are some teams that are in some matchups this week that sort of, if you mess around a little bit, they could be scary. Ooh. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We can talk about that just a little bit. But as always, we're going to have a good time. And we're going to start with our game of the week. And our game of the week has to be the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. That's right. Florida and the Dogs getting together down in Jacksonville this weekend. Is there anything better, Joe, than the game in Jacksonville? Is there anything better? Whoops, wrong button. Sorry, everybody. Is there anything better than heading down to Jacksonville for the matchup between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Florida Gators? To me, I understand that you've got other rivalry games at neutral sites and they do things splitting their stadiums and stuff like that. Texas and Oklahoma do that. But obviously this one's near and dear to my heart. I love this rivalry. I love the fact that it's a neutral site game. I love the way the stadium looks when you get there. I love the banter with the Florida fans when you're there in person. I just love it. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and I think I'm going to change my costume. So I'm going to be the bobblehead of myself. And I'm just going to tell you that there is no better rivalry. Yeah, there is not one. And Timothy, you gotta lock them gates, baby.
That's woo!
Right. See, it's hard holding them alligators down on my feet. It's hard, but you can do it.
I think Joe's bouncing back and forth between Ric Flair and some bobbleheads.
I got a bobblehead going on over here.
Several costumes going on tonight.
That's right. They can't run. They can't hide. You got to look them in the face. You got to look them in the face.
I like it.
Oh, hold us.
I like it.
This thing's going to suck. It's just going to swallow me. But, we've been down there to Florida. Let me tell you, Carol and Tim and everybody else in the chat over there. Let me tell you, we've been there to the FLA. Been there a couple times. Got kicked out. Can't go back anymore. But, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I might keep my hat on.
Let's do this. We don't have a big long list of games this week. The slate's not that heavy, so we've got a little bit extra time to talk around right here now. In this household, we're a split household. For me, there is no team that I want to beat more than the Florida Gators. Every year, all the time, any sport, doesn't matter. For Mrs. Beast, though, That team is Auburn. Now, she does not like her some Gators. She is as anti-Gator as I am, but for her, the game she really wants to win is Auburn. So you're on the show with me here. I have to ask you, I mean, who is your biggest rivalry? I mean, because I'm going to classify you for the sake of this discussion as a Georgia Bulldogs fan. So I want to know. I want to know who is your biggest, the team you love to see Georgia beat every season.
Man, that's tough.
It is hard.
I gotta go.
And it
Where's Herman Rod? Where's Herman Rod? I gotta go with Alabama. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's gonna suck if that's. No, I think I gotta go with. I think I gotta go with Tennessee. I mean, I do hate Florida and I do hate Auburn. There's no doubt about that. But I do not like Tennessee, like at all. So something about that pumpkin orange. And if you remember, Randy, we took a trip. We were in a cabin somewhere. Yeah, you heard that, Herman Raj. Yeah, I wasn't even there. Yeah, but we were on a Halloween retreat somewhere watching Georgia-Florida game on Halloween in a cabin one year, and I was dating my now wife, and I was trying to show out and carve a pumpkin or cut a pumpkin, and I about sliced my hand off. If you remember that game,
I do remember that.
Yeah, against
that
Tennessee.
Machismo.
So
that machismo. Yeah, we were up in the Tennessee hills when that happened.
So Tennessee can bite me.
Yep, that's right. You need a reason to get after them. There you go. Well, that's cool. Between the three of us, those are three good rivalries to sort of. We got most of the old East and West covered. So there we go. We're in good shape. I have to think back.
Hey Herb, hang on, Randy, just a second before you tell. Hey Herb and Raj, guess what? I dressed up as an elephant for Halloween, and I got kicked out every place I went, so I had to take my uni off. Ha ha ha! Okay.
See, they're on a bye week. So they get to sit back and relax this week. Nothing too scary for them this week.
Nope.
Nothing too scary for them. But there are some teams out there that have some games that are kind of scary this week. So in case you missed the live stream last night, Joe, over on the podcast live stream, I listed the 5 reasons that I hate the Florida Gators with the utmost aggression. And at the end of the day, I just want to get on my number 1, I just want to get your thoughts on one Steve Spurrier. I'm just curious what you think about Mr. Spurrier. Because I said last night, he is the reason I hate Florida, but I respect him as a head coach and everything he accomplished. And that's because he was such a good coach at beating my team. You got to give it to the man who takes it personally and then does something about it. And I appreciate that about him, but he is the reason that I hate the Florida Gators.
Yeah, well, and I'm kind of torn about old Spurrier because he is a grade 8 number 1 prick. And I do appreciate that.
He can be.
He can be. But at the same time, I mean, it's that thing that he ain't hiding it. He's letting you know. And he's doing it with that little slag. He's like, yeah, I'm being but I'm just going to be here nice. So I have a lot of love for that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like the way I love Herb and Raj. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like I love my Alabama friends over there, but I'm going to stick it to you every chance.
Well, one of my favorite zingers that Spurrier ever had, and you can get behind this one too, because he was talking about the University of Tennessee when he said, you can't spell Citrus Bowl without UT. And that was one of the very best. One of the very best. Because, they were always, back when the Dogs were relegated to middle of the pack, in the SEC, it was Tennessee and Florida over there. Wait, what? I missed something. I don't know what. I've missed
I'm
something.
loving the chat over. I always love the chat.
Yeah, the chat's great over here. We'll catch up on that later because I've missed something over there. But that's okay. So, for me, Steve Spurrier is the reason that I don't like the Gators. And he gets it honest. And I talked about it on the podcast last night. Because in 1966, Joe, let me give you a little history lesson. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
1966, Steve Spurrier wound up being the Heisman Trophy winner that year. But the thing that made him hate Georgia was the fact that when those two teams got together that season, not only did his Gators come into that game unbeaten, but They lost to Georgia, and Georgia, in the process, he threw 3 interceptions in that game. And with 3 seconds left on the clock, Georgia punched another one in the end zone just to be like, there you go. There you go. and what is the Michael Jordan meme? He took that personally. And then he made it his life's goal to get back on Georgia every chance he had. So when he got to Florida, and then again when he was at South Carolina, he gave us what for and the how now. And, what are you going to do? I mean, just line up and try to beat him. And he was the better man for a lot of years. But even when they weren't the better team, the ball always seemed to bounce their way. Like the call always seemed to go their way. The injuries always seemed to go their way. And Georgia could not win. So I get my hatred for Florida. It's a good-natured hatred, but I get it fully honest because my high school and college years were torture in that game. There's just no way around it.
Yeah, and that's all fun and games. I mean, I really enjoy that. And if you look at the Auburn rivalry and the hatred there that Mrs. Beast has, it's well-founded, for different reasons. But the reason I don't like Tennessee, beyond the fact that I nearly severed my own arm off during that episode, the reason why Tennessee has always been that team to me that I'm not calling Tennessee a cheap shot program. You know what I mean?
A dirty program.
Dirty program. It's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
But they always seem in my mind have had a person or two that has always been on the line, and they've always caused, Georgia some significant loss and other teams some significant loss for reasons that they didn't have to. You know what I mean? And so not calling them a cheap team, dirty shots, anything like that, but they seem to be that way from time to time. And I just don't like that about them.
Yeah. Well, you got to have those players that are willing to walk up to the edge. There's no doubt. And they've had a few. Florida's had a few. Georgia's had a couple. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And you mentioned Mrs. Beast and Auburn. That Auburn game where they brutalized Aaron Murray with cheap shot after cheap shot.
Yeah.
That's what makes these rivalries inside this conference just bitter.
I think that's what Josh may be referring to there. He's talking about that 2010 Auburn team, just one of the dirtiest cheap shot teams ever.
Yep. Yeah. But that's what makes it so bitter. So when you get the upper hand, you feel really good about it. Well, let's look a little bit closer at this game. The game of the week, Georgia, Florida. Actually, I say it Georgia, Florida because, Georgia's the better program, so I'm always going to say Georgia, Florida. But officially, Florida is the visitors, so it would be Florida, Georgia on your scorecard box score this weekend. They are going to start freshman 5-star plus quarterback DJ Lagway after Graham Mertz got hurt earlier this season. And all they've done is put this kid in there and just tell him, I think he had 7 completions last week. That's all he completed, but seemed like every one of them went for 40-yard touchdowns because they just ran straight verts. Like 4 verts, y'all run, I'm going to throw it. And it worked for them. So that's what they've got going on. But he's a mobile quarterback, but he is a brand new player. He's a true freshman. So it'll be interesting to see what the Dogs dial up for him. And on the other side, you've got Carson Beck heading back home to Jacksonville. He played really great there last year for the Dogs. He's been average, I would say, at best this season for Georgia, even though his head coach likes the way he's playing. His statistics have not been off the charts or anything. I think Carson would tell you that he would never tell you, but he hadn't had a lot of help. I think he's had, listen to this statistic, Joe, like 350 yards worth of dropped passes this season. So it's not like he's not putting them on the numbers. The guys aren't making plays for him. And, so that's why his numbers are a little more average than maybe they were last week. But then you've also got Trevor Etienne, who played for the Gators last year, who decided I'm going to try to level up, step up a class, get to a team that can play in December and maybe compete for a championship. And he's heading back to play his former teammates. So that kind of sets the table for you there, Joe. Anything I say there sort of spark your thoughts? I mean, obviously, to me, the big deal here is the money is on the table for Georgia in the run game. Florida is not very good statistically over the course of the season stopping the run. The Georgia run game statistically over the course of the season has not been maybe what a lot of us are used to. The money is on the table. Georgia could start with this game and show us that from here on out, they're going to be more of a run team. We'll have to see if they get Tate Ratledge back from injury. He may be back. No guarantee about that. So it's there. The opportunities are there. If the Florida Gators are going to win this game, DJ Lagway has to be like the 5-star plus guy. Like he has to have people help him. He has to continue to throw the ball down the field. And when he has the opportunity, he has to make Georgia pay with his running ability. So that's the way they're going to have to win it. And then Florida would have to, reduce Georgia's efficiency on offense if they can. So they've got big, talented players. It's going to be a physical game. But that's kind of what I see. Can Georgia run the football? What will they do to DJ Lagway? And then it comes down to the coaches, and I think Georgia has the edge in the coaching matchup here. We'll leave it at that. But that's how I see it. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, first I'm laughing at Herb and Raj in the chat, of course, and Herb and Raj podcast, and I'm officially here. What did Joe say about me? It's kind of like Inspector Gadget. This message will self-destruct. I'll never tell. But,
That's right.
Anyway, yeah. I like what Josh said in the chat there, too. I think ETN needs to go down there and have a game. I think that'd be nice to see. I'd like to see him get over 100 yards. And I think if he does that, then you're just going to see, a big game out of our man Carson as well. Because, obviously the run game will open up the passing game for him. I'd like to see Carson have a big game. I'd like to see him do it on the home stage here for himself. I think that would be just awesome. It would kind of put the feather in the cap for him, I think, for being back here this year playing for the Dogs. Now, on the other side, what do I think will be the only chance Florida has against Georgia? And I think it's the potential for this 5-star quarterback. And I'm not going to say 5-star plus because I just think that's stupid. So I'm going to say it's
man,
5.
I didn't make it up. That's
but somebody else did. And that's why it's just like, he's better than a 5-star. Really?
Really?
What does a 5-star mean anyway? To me, that's not great. But anyway.
Well, 5-star, technically, according to Rivals, they mean that you're going to be a first-round draft pick. That's what they believe. Now, the plus thing is an on-3 thing. So make of that what you will.
So the only thing that I think will be the benefit of Mr. Lagway in this game would be ignorance can be bliss, for a freshman quarterback that's out there, and he's going to see things that I don't think has seen this year. I think that's just what Georgia's going to do to him. And sometimes if you're a good enough athlete and you're scaredless enough, you might just be able to go out there and outrun somebody and do some things you ain't supposed to do. Because I tell you, I wasn't the best athlete, but when I knew I had somebody big enough chasing me, I got to be faster. I got to be a little bit more elusive and, give the kid credit. He's a 5-star for some reason. So maybe a little ignorance is bliss. Maybe that benefits him because he's scared to death.
he don't know what he's about to get into. And
he does not know.
I saw Carol mention it over there. Like he's about to have the deer in headlights look. And that's the other thing that I didn't mention in my bit earlier is I really want to see this Georgia defense continue to be the defense we saw against Texas, the one that's just creating havoc, right? That's resetting the game board every time they get on the field so that the offense doesn't have the ability to do what they want to do because they don't know what's coming at them, And when you've got a true freshman there, I can only imagine the games and the ghosts that he might be seeing this Halloween weekend because they're going to be bringing dudes from all over the place. Not every play, but he's going to be like, I didn't even see that cat.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the thing that I think when you have a good enough talent, and, I don't know this kid's talent level. I assume he's pretty daggum good. But when you have a guy that has just really, really good talent level like that, it could be one of those situations where he's making plays and he comes off the field. The coach says, "What do you see?" And he has, "I have no idea." It's just that natural instinct that a player can have, to have a lights out game and never really even know what's going on. You know what I'm talking about. There are rare people that have games like that. So.
Yeah, I do. But they do have those iPads. So you're going to see the cutaway of him on the sideline with the iPad. Like, what in the world?
Yeah. So, what does that mean? I don't know.
I saw Josh tossed out an idea here, and something we should mention in this game. That Georgia did have 2 players ejected against Texas for targeting on bang plays. You know, nobody was trying to hurt anybody. That's just by the letter of the law. They called it. So now they have to sit out the first half, which means that on the back end, there's going to have to be some shuffling of players that are going to be moved around. And in Aguero's case, think back to what happened against Clemson, right? They thought he was going to play, and then like right before the game, he gets hurt. He doesn't play. Now they have to take Malachi Starks and roll him down into the star position. And you have KJ Bolden and Dan Jackson on the back end. But now Dan Jackson also has to sit out a half. So who's going to fill in on the back end? Who's going to move down? So it's going to shuffle things around right there. There are 2 things, and Josh mentioned this in the chat. There are a couple of things here that we should keep in mind. One, again, think about that Clemson game and how Georgia played that. But again, we have 2 bodies out now, not just one. So I think that Ja'Cory Thomas is a player that you're going to have to see in the first part of the game there. I don't know if he's going to line up at safety or if he's actually going to move down to star. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It's who's the best player that gives you the most advantages if they end up in a position. So, for instance, if you move Malachi Starks out of safety, just let Ja'Cory Thomas play safety over the top and let Starks cover that guy on the slot or those underneath routes. Maybe that gives you more options, right? So maybe that's what you do. And does that affect the corner positions? I mean, you still have Julian Humphrey. You still have Dalen Everett as your potential starters there. But the voice and the name that we've heard a lot of as the season has gone along, as I expected it would, is Ellis Robinson. And they keep saying, if we play a more traditional style offense, Ellis can get out there and do some things for us. So this could be the week coming off a bye where they got more reps that you might see Ellis Robinson get out there in the first half, especially because of the movement that's going to have to happen on that back end for Georgia. Now, the flip side of that coin, as I told you, DJ Lagway will chunk it now. He'll throw it down the field. He'll throw that rail route with the best of them. And if you've got new guys in that secondary who aren't there all the time, they might bust something. You might see Florida get a big play early in the game because of some crossed wires and communication back there. So it's going to be interesting to watch as we get into it right there.
I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by Herb and Raj over here in the chat.
That's all right.
It's like, who's better, Herb or Raj? I'm like, I don't know. Which one do I want to, I don't even know which one. Who's who? Which one's Herb? Which one's Raj? Does that answer your question? I don't know. Herb, Raj. I don't know.
Here you go. I'm gonna give you the full screen, Joe. You need to talk to Herb and Raj directly.
Herb, Raj, listen up to me here, okay? Let me just tell you what's going on. You got the bye week happening. Not sure what Bama does in a bye week. I don't know. What do they do? Sit around and play with each other's trunks? I don't know. But either way, it's Halloween, and I got kicked out of every place I went in my elephant costume tonight. And Herb and Raj is here in the show, and I love them. But don't forget, I got something coming to you guys. Yeah, you don't know it yet? I got something coming to you in the mail. Just wait and see what it is. I wish I'd have gotten it there by Halloween. You'd have loved it. But Carol's holding the fort down in the chat over there. Keep it up, Carol. And Herb and Raj, I don't know. Can you tell us apart?
Now, see, yeah. I was going to say, I think
can't tell you apart.
Well, see, now there's the grin. I was going to say, I don't think that's what Joe meant exactly.
Nah.
But there you go.
Just busting your chops, man. I don't know. Joe's threats. Yeah,
Josh is all over it. He's like, we're going gator hunting this weekend. So I'm all about that, Josh. I am all about that.
Gator hunting.
Let's do this. Let's go ahead and fire up this pick machine. What do you say? Let's start looking around at some of these ball games. That's why the people are here. They want to see us talk a little football. Let's do it. Let's take a look across the SEC first, as we always do. And they've got a nice little game here right off the top, Joe. Ole Miss and Arkansas. Sam and the boys are going to be hosting Old Blue Pants, as you like to call them. I just don't know. Lane seemed a little salty this week at his press conference. And he wasn't even talking about this game. He was talking about the next game. He was talking about Georgia. He's like, oh, LSU gets another night game. Why can't we get a night game? Good for them, I guess. Oh, thanks, SEC. I was like, come on, Lane. Don't be so salty, man. So
he is such a baby.
Anyway, all right, Joe. Ole Miss, Blue Pants. They are on the road to Arkansas. I'm just curious. They're about an 8-point favorite. Who you got in this game, man?
Let me see. I picked against Ole Miss last week, didn't I? Didn't I pick somebody to beat them last week? I feel like I did.
That's a blur.
Yeah. I don't know. Did they lose last week? They've lost 2.
Did they lose last week? I don't know. I don't have my cheat sheet in front of me, my little card.
I don't know. Yeah,
who beat who. Stop
I can't remember.
Questions, Vance.
Stop asking me questions. I feel like I'm on a Herb and Rod show. People ask questions. I don't know. No, I think I'm going to have to go with. I think I'm going to have to take Arkansas right here. Going to take old Arkansas at the hizzy. Yep.
Arkansas is coming off a big win last week, and Ole Miss won last week. Thanks, Herb and Rod. Appreciate that. So they got the victory last week. So both of them are coming in this week with a win. Just because I think it's going to make, man, I don't know. See, I love me some Arkansas, and they played really well last week. And here I am. I want to pick Arkansas, but there's a part of me that says Ole Miss, they're going to win to set this thing up to get ready for, for the big game against Georgia. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss. Let the record show, man, with the ring, let the record show that I want Arkansas to win, but I'm going to pick Ole Miss. So we're different on that one, Joe. I'm going to go with Ole Miss. You got Arkansas. Vanderbilt and Auburn. Now, my Auburn people, they are hopeful about this game. They are no longer looking at this game and thinking slam dunk win, but they are hopeful that they can get a win here and then build on the rest of their season and build toward the big game against Alabama at the end of the year. Because if they win this game, they still have hope to make a bowl game, but they got to win, right? So Vanderbilt and Auburn, the weirdness over there on Jordan-Hare, who you going with?
I just want, the question in the chat, why is Auburn favored by so much?
I don't know.
Because the history is still, and the team they're playing against is Vanderbilt. That's they are still Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
But, Vanderbilt, I got to give the boys credit. I do. I think Vandy has the opportunity to get bowl eligible against Auburn. Go Vandy!
Oh, there it is. That would be pretty sweet. See, everything in me wants to pick Vanderbilt. The only hesitation I'm having is that when they've been great at home, and then they lose on the road to Georgia State. They lose on the road to a not good Missouri team. And I'm just like, can you go on the road and win a game, I don't know. That Vanderbilt defense has been pretty good against the run game this year. Auburn seems to have found their run game last week against Kentucky. So give me Vandy.
There you go.
Vandy too. Give me Vandy. So there
Josh
we go.
is all over it in the chat, by the way. Attaboy, Josh.
What we got over there? Let's see. All right, wait a minute. Hold on. Joe called you out. Let's throw it on the screen. Let's see what we got here. He says, Auburn celebrations throwing toilet paper, kind of ironic because the program is back. I should have read it first. I could have had a beef ready. That would have been good. That would have been good. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Let's keep it moving. I'm on Vandy. You're on Vandy. The Maine Bears are rolling down into play Oklahoma, Joe. I think Oklahoma's going to win this one. Yeah?
You do?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Jackson Arnold looked better. He looked better against Ole Miss last week. Defense is still pretty good. I'm on Oklahoma.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll pick Oklahoma. Sure. Why not? But I do like Maine's uniform. So,
yeah, well,
I think I'll have to take OU.
Ain't no love in
Just
Oklahoma.
Cause.
There you go.
No.
How's that? I'm not going to sing for you guys tonight. I used to be a good singer back in the day, but not right now. Oh, man, look. It's UMass back in the SEC again. This time they're taking on Mississippi State. Joe, Mississippi State and Van Buren at quarterback are going to beat the Minutemen. Give me Mississippi State.
Yeah, can't go with UMass. No, wait, I can and I will take UMass to beat Mississippi State. Indeed.
That hurts my feelings, man. That hurts my feelings. And that's just an SEC. Oh, gosh, I hope they don't lose to UMass.
They will.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Yep. I feel strongly about the Minuteman. I do.
Okay.
I feel strongly about them here.
Strongly. Feel strongly about them.
Strong about it.
Hey, I'm all for it, man. I am all for it. All right, so Texas A&M and South Carolina. Now, Joe, do I even have to ask you who you're picking?
No.
Okay, so we know.
You want me to call my boy Andrew back up in here?
No,
you know who I'm gonna pick.
That's right. So Joe is on who?
Texas A&M, baby. Give me them Aggies.
Listen to this. Listen to this, Joe. As we sit here right now, the possibility still exists that Georgia could win out, go 7-1 in the conference, right? Texas A&M could win out, go 8-0 in the conference. LSU could win out and go 7-1 in the conference. LSU would rematch with Texas A&M in the SEC championship game, while a potential number one team in the nation, Georgia Bulldogs, would sit at home because they lost to Alabama, and LSU would have beaten Alabama, and therefore they would get the nod in the championship game. That potential exists.
That's just crazy.
It is crazy. That is crazy. But
Herman Rodgers, you're making me a mess. You're making me a mess.
See, now if Herman Rodgers and the Alabama team goes down there and beats LSU, then we don't got to worry about none of that. But if they don't, then it's still, it lives. It lives.
Come on, Herman Rodgers, get it right.
Well,
get it right.
Well, Georgia's got to do their part too. So, but yeah, that is something that exists. Okay, South Carolina at home at night, Shane Beamer and Sandstorm and the White Towels and Cocky shaking the cage. Give me Gamecocks to upset Texas A&M. I'm going to do it. I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to do it. Give me South Carolina to upset Texas A&M.
Wow.
That's what I think.
I'm going to tell Andrew about that. I'm going to tell him about that. He's going to be like, nah, I can't come back on that show.
Hey, that young quarterback, dude, he looked great. He looked great, and he looked great earlier this season against Florida. And if they go with him, then South Carolina's probably just up a creek, and I'm going to look real, real dumb. But that's okay. That's okay. If South Carolina's going to pull one off, this would be a fun one for them to get. So there you go, South Carolina. Now, Kentucky and Tennessee. This is the Bourbon Bowl because they're going to argue about who's got the best whiskey. Now, that's a fun tailgate to be at, friends. I'm just telling you. But Kentucky.
Good time right there now.
Kentucky has not been what we thought they were going to be. And if it weren't for the mess that Auburn has been, Kentucky would be that most underachieving team inside the conference this year. Tennessee seems pretty good. They seem to be a running team first now. They still play pretty good defense. And they're hosting Kentucky. And they're wearing their Halloween unis. They're doing the whole black thing. So, is there any way...
Who is? Tennessee?
Tennessee is. Is there any way they lose on Rocky Top this Saturday?
I don't know if they're going to lose or not, but I'm taking Kentucky. For two reasons.
Okay.
I like Kentucky bourbon better.
Okay.
Number one. Been
That's
there.
Fine. Yeah, I
a lot
like
of fun. Enjoy that. And you just said Tennessee's wearing an all-black uni?
They are.
Nah. Go with the Blue Hats.
Okay.
Kentucky.
Joe's going with Kentucky. Brock Vandegrift is going to put on a mask and be the quarterback that can complete some passes this weekend. That's what he's dressing up as.
He's dressing up as a quarterback this week.
He's going to complete some passes. I'm gonna go with Tennessee. Give me Tennessee. It just seems like all the hype, all the stuff. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. Tennessee, and we'll work with Tennessee a little bit later this season. Me and my Bulldogs. But give me Tennessee for now. All right, Joe. Before we get out of the conference, we got to pick the game of the week. Florida, Georgia. I did my best to make you think that Florida's in this thing to win it. Did I do any good? Any shot at all?
No. Nope. Even a quarterback running scared gets blindsided and just tattooed pursued all night long by a defense that will show no mercy on that kid.
Okay. Well, you remember all that spiel I said earlier about how much Steve Spurrier hated Florida, and that's why he beat them the way he did, to beat Georgia the way he did when he was there?
Yeah.
Joe, in 1995, there was a freshman who was playing for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Wore number 16, I believe.
He did wear number 16. Man, you know a little something. His name was Kirby Smart, and he was in the stadium. I believe he played in the game.
He did.
When the Florida Gators came to Athens and are the only team in the history of Sanford Stadium to put 50 points on the board.
Against the Dogs.
Against the Dogs. And Spurrier did it on purpose. Kept throwing touchdowns just to get to 50 because he knew nobody ever had. And a young Kirby Smart watched that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he took that personally. And I think as long as Kirby Smart is the head coach at the University of Georgia and the Florida Gators are on the schedule, them Gators, they got an ass whooping coming up.
Them Gators going to catch hell, boy. That's all I can say. That's all I can say about it.
I'm with you right there. I think Kirby took it personally. And if he's got a shot, he's going to put it on the Gators if he gets the opportunity. So, and I know he and Billy are buddies or whatever, but it's like, we'll
Billy Napier, Billy, don't even go, bro. Don't even go. You're gonna get an ass whooping. That's what's gonna happen.
I hope that's how it goes. I'll be a happy Bulldog if that's the case. That is for sure. All right, Joe, let's look around just outside the footprint here. Don't worry, we're not going too far. We're going to keep it here in the South. Just 2 more games to get through. Louisville and Clemson. We're going to look strictly at the ACC here because all these teams are kind of clustered together, right? Louisville's just a little bit off the pace. Clemson's still right there, got a chance to be the champion. And then we're going to look at the Pittsburgh and SMU game. So let's look at Clemson first. Clemson and Louisville. The Tigers got the Cardinals coming into the cow patch over there. Still looking to remain undefeated inside conference play. So who you got, Joe? Louisville freeze? Something's going. No, we came back. A little internet craziness. Okay, good. Yeah. There we go.
So in case you didn't hear me, I'm not going to choose Louisville. I mean, come on. No.
Maybe they wear the all whites. Maybe they wear the all whites. It doesn't matter if they wear the all whites.
No, I want to take the Tiger Paw. Give me the Paw.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm with you. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. I think Clemson's going to win. I think Cade Klubnik's going to continue to play better. I think them being at home is going to make the difference, and they are going to take care of Louisville and keep their heading toward that ACC championship game. We'll see if they end up there. And then that leaves us with Pittsburgh and the Ponies down there in SMU land. Everybody's undefeated in conference, Joe. So that Pittsburgh team has looked kind of scrappy this year. And SMU been in the rankings for a couple of weeks here. Yeah. This is an interesting game. Who you got?
Well, now you've heard me talk about the Ponies a little bit. I thought they had a little action. They're not terrible. But I just am going to put this up here in the screening.
Little Dan Marino action.
You might be able to see old Dan the man right there. If you can't see that one, let me show you this one right there. There's old Dan. Right?
Dan the man. That's right.
So I think that tells you everything you need to know.
Well, now you got to educate everybody just a little bit. You're showing them in a Dolphins uniform.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Everybody knows Dan was the man back there at Pitt back in the day. 1980 to 83 was the man.
Yeah.
And I just got to take Pitt because I'm a Marino fan, and I can tell SMU to kiss the ring because I got the man Marino. I got the ghost of Dan Marino's collegiate days.
And the ghost of Chuck Long's professional career.
Yeah, there we go. I can't put the helmet on because I got my glasses on.
Oh,
Dan wore a big old hat like this, too.
Yeah, he did.
He wore a big old helmet.
He did. So, all right.
That's who I got to take there.
All right, so you're on the
Panthers. You can put a stamp on it, man.
Okay, so you're on the Panthers.
Thing is heavy.
It looks heavy. I do like that they went back to that yellow and blue.
Ears out and everything.
I do like that they went back to that yellow and blue look like Dan wore back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
That's right. A lot better. But as much as that walk down history's trails, as much fun.
Wait. For Herb and Raj, just so y'all know.
Oh, wait a minute. See,
I mean, who's that good-looking young man right there in Dan Marino's uniform? Who's that?
you see that right there? Raj is gonna have to get him one of those.
Raj, I got one of these signed coming to you in the mail right here. There you go. Right there.
Yeah, see, they didn't believe me when I told them that you were a Dolphins fan back in the day.
Yeah. I can't get that to stay on the wall now, but anyway.
It's all right. You can fix it later. Well, I'm going to go the other way. You give me SMU, give me the Ponies. So we're going to get some separation this weekend. I think they're going to do just enough to get it done. I think it's something about the trip, something about traveling out to Texas is going to
Yes, Carol. That is Joe.
Get Pittsburgh off their game. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, Carol. Yeah. I'm glad y'all enjoy Joe's props. Joe's got props all over the place.
Y'all just don't know. That was me back in the day. I had hair. I was an athlete. Y'all know. Y'all know.
Oh, me. Maybe someday we'll walk that road. We'll head down. we'll share some stories somehow about any of that over there. Yeah, I know. They got it going on over there in the chat.
That's funny. So Dan Marino used to dress up as Joe for Halloween. That's right.
So there we go. We've made it through all our picks. We've made our picks and stuff like that. You got anything? I cannot believe you got the audacity to not only wear it, but then to like show it off. Like,
yeah. Man. You don't know. I was just wearing it around work all the time now. I just go to work and then show up like this.
Y'all in the chat, we should give him a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Is that a good prank or is that foul? Is he off base?
Come on. Let's see. Joe got the ring, bro.
Oh,
thumbs up or thumbs down? Somebody give me some love over there.
Oh no, see, man, I know we're talking about football, but I'm sitting here looking. See, I'm looking at this right here. I don't know if y'all can see this. Maybe you can. I'll try to show you. See that right there? Tonight is Halloween, so we went out with the girls. Come on, camera. We went out with the girls. I am powered by nerds over here. I am so hungry. I haven't had dinner, and I'm looking at these nerds going, that's good stuff. Right there.
Herb and Raj giving a thumbs up. That away.
Yeah, somebody gave it. Yeah, thieving between brothers.
Herb and Raj knows all about stealing things. They do. They're an Alabama fan. They steal shit all the time.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
But we love it. We love
it. Low blows incoming. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do about that. See, I don't know, man. You got a ways to go. I think the last count, I've probably still up. I've got a lead of like 6 games, I think, is where we are in the season. You still got plenty of time. I mean, this thing's neck and neck if you look at it over the course of the season.
Got 2 thumbs down now. There we go.
See, there you go.
No, Tennessee's got my back though.
See, why y'all do me like this? I invite you into the community, onto the channel.
Let you in.
Oh, man.
Channel.
4 thumbs.
Hey, I don't know which one it was that gave me the first 2 thumbs down. But now there's no question it's on.
You thought it was bad before.
Yeah, we're about to go on now.
We're about to go nuclear now. That's what that's going to be.
That's fine.
All right, Joe. Let's give the fans a little bit of an extra pick here. Joe, this week we've got the Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the bigger bad boys from way out yonder in the name of Bye. Who are you taking this week, Joe? Are you going with the Tide?
Taking the BYE.
For the record, at least make Joe feel better. There we go. Whatever. You stole my ring. That ain't cool. Halloween tricks or treats. You pulled a trick like 3 weeks ahead of Halloween. That ain't even cool.
I'm taking the pie. See, let me tell you, I really thought about squeezing the water bottle. I put the lid on very gently. And I was like, I'm going to squeeze it and it'd be a great video effect, water going everywhere. And then as I started to squeeze the bottle, I thought about the disaster that could be.
Yes. Yes.
Because
there's a lot of stuff in front of you there that is not conducive to the liquid elements on the planet. That would not be a good plan.
That would not have gone well.
All right, Joe. Anything you want to get on here to put a bow on this thing before we get out of here? Any final words about them Gators or anything else?
No, I think we're all good there. Gator sucks. Auburn sucks. Tennessee wearing all black uniforms. That sucks.
That sucks.
I mean, it's pretty bad. Kentucky's bourbon is better. That's a bottom line fact for you right there. And let's see here. If you guys want to enjoy some great high school football tomorrow night, log on to WRBJradio.com about 7 o'clock. You'll be able to listen in to what is going to be a title matchup between two border rivalries here with Dublin and Dodge County. And it is going to be an old school backyard punch you in the face football game with referees that are indeed tainted and probably bought off by one team. I won't tell you which one, but we're on the road if that lets you know anything. Okay. So it's going to be one of those ball games. You might hear Joe get a little animated. Going to be a lot of fun tuning in. WRBJradio.com. Broadcast starts at 7.
That's pretty good right there. It's like you know how to do a little bit of radio talk or something.
You thought
you might have done that before. I'll tell you what, we went down. I'm gonna take just a quick minute and share my favorite Georgia Florida memory, since that is the game of the week this week. 1997. The Gators were 3 touchdown favorites over the Bulldogs, and Jim Donnan took his Georgia Bulldog team down to Jacksonville. And who was on that team? Let me tell you. Champ Bailey was on that team. The Lucky Triplets were on that team. Corey Allen was at wide receiver. Robert Edwards was in the backfield. Hines Ward was at wide receiver. Mike Bobo was taking snaps. And one Kirby Smart was playing safety back there on the back end. And nobody gave the Dogs a chance. And I was going to go to my first Georgia Florida game. So I had gone to Stegman back before all the upgrades, went to the ticket office, bought my tickets, and I was so happy. Like, you couldn't give those tickets away to Georgia fans back in the day because everybody thought Florida was going to beat us again. So I rolled up to the ticket window, and I was hoping to get like 2 tickets, right? And I was like, I need at least 2. And they were like, well, how many do you want? And I'm like, how many can I get? And I was like, well, how much money do I have? I did some quick math. I think I walked out of there with 6 or 8. I forget, something like that. But then all of a sudden it became a party. It wasn't just me going to Jacksonville. I was like, I got to call some people. Like, I got some tickets. We're going to the game. So we took off, head down to Jacksonville. My first experience ever going down there for a game. And we drove down on Friday, and we didn't stay in Jacksonville. We stayed in not Savannah, Joe. What is it? Valdosta. We stayed in Valdosta with a friend who was living there at the time. And we had a raucous evening. We got into all kinds of goodness and libations and had a great old time. Everybody passed out wherever they were sitting. I think I was in the floor. We woke up the next morning and took off for Jacksonville. I don't know how that works. It only happens when you're like 21 years old. But when you can go do something so stupid the night before, push all of your limits, and then wake up on like 4 hours of sleep and feel like you've been in bed for a month, like wide open. I should have known then it was going to be a good day. But we piled into the car, took off down to Jacksonville, showed up. First thing that happened is we found a place to park, not knowing anything about where we were relative to the stadium. We were just looking for a place to park, and they were like,
"There's grass."
Yeah, and we were like, "We're parking here," and we knew the landing existed, so we were like, "How close are we to that?" And they were like, "Well, it's that way." And then we were like, "Well, where's the stadium?" "Well, it's that way." "And are you people dog fans?" "Yes, we are." And they were like, "Go Dogs! Come over here and have a shot." And then we didn't know what was going on. We just walked into complete strangers' parties. They were throwing back shots of Fireball and everything else you could imagine. I wasn't. I was keeping calm because I wanted to watch the game. But my posse, they were, and believe me, it didn't take long till they were fully gassed. Now, unbeknownst to us, we had to walk like 2 miles to the stadium. Just no buses. We're just hoofing it. And we're walking past Gators and Bulldogs and just all this stuff. And it was glorious because you see all of the different kinds, right? You see the people who got something to say. You see the people who are just having a good time. And I fell in love with it, y'all. That's part of the reason I love that trip so much. And there was a lot of barking and a lot of yelling and a lot of, like back and forth between my posse and the people. And that was all good. Then we get to the stadium. And I didn't know anything about this place, but our seats were like literally 3 or 4 rows from the top of the stadium. Like, you couldn't get any higher than we were. And the game kicks off at like 3:30, and the St. Johns River is right there, and the scoreboard was to our left. So that sun was in our face for like an hour and a half. You know what I mean? And
it's real cool and not humid at all down there in Florida.
And
nice
so
breeze.
We were high we were so high, like we were lightheaded. We were so high, but the sun was in our face. And what was going on? Hines Ward on a reverse. Robert Edwards had already scored 1 touchdown by the time we got to our seats. And then the next thing we know, it was, I think there might've been an interception or something. And then Robert Edwards scored another touchdown, and now we're in a game, and we're like, holy cow, we're in a game. And we got so excited, high-fiving with the people around us and stuff. Members of my posse had been, like I said, they were gassed up. Let's put it that way. And they would high five and swing and miss. Next thing you know, they're body surfing down the rows and then getting passed back up to us. It was a love fest up there in that Bulldog section.
That's right.
And then Mike Bobo and Robert Edwards and Kirby Smart and Champ Bailey and all those great Bulldogs, Jim Donnan, went on to win the day. And it turned out to be one of the best experiences of my life. So 1997, Georgia-Florida game, Dogs, there were 3 touchdown underdogs. They go down there and win the game. It was just a glorious afternoon, great memories. I'm happy to be able to share them with you now. Everybody got out of there safe. A lot of great memories were made, and I loved beating Steve Spurrier. That's what it was about for me. Man, like, that was the only game Steve Spurrier lost as the head coach of the Florida Gators to the Georgia Bulldogs. And to say that I was able to be there for it, it is, as a student, right, of the University of Georgia, it was one of the best memories of my football life. There you go. Joe's got it. Robert Edwards over the top. Mike Bobo. That's right. Mike Bobo throwing seeds to Corey Allen to get him down there. And then Edwards over the top, 37-17, November 1st, 1997. So there you go. So that's my memory of the Gators. Me and the Gators, we got a pretty long history. That's a good one. And I've been there for a few other wins, but I've been there for some ugly losses too. Yeah. But that's why I love the rivalry. That's why I hate the Gators. What do you think about that, Joe? Did you like that stroll down memory lane?
There you go. That was a lot of fun. Reminded me of a lot of the reason why I hate Jägermeister. Yeah. That's what it reminded me a lot of.
Yep.
Yeah.
That might be part of the reason. That might be part of the reason that Miss Beast likes it, actually.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. And let me just tell you, it reminds me a lot of why I love Miss Beast, because I was talking a lot of trash, and I think she had my back in a couple of situations that I recall down there. We can't, I don't think, tell that story on the airwaves of the interwebs, but let's just tell you that Miss Beast, she brings a little muscle.
She's about it now.
She'll bring it now. And it don't matter if it was a car full of drunk Florida fans or what. They were all like, we'll reconsider. That's what they did.
That's exactly right. We won the game, and then we walked 2 miles back to the car, and thankfully the landing wasn't that far away. And then we danced and partied and had a great time at the landing. Those of you old enough to know what the landing was, that was a great night. You could not move. Like it was like concrete. There were so many
red
people.
And black asses and elbows everywhere, brother. That's all it was.
And we just stayed and danced, and it was a glorious night. Cool right down there by the river. Just a wonderful, wonderful memory. And I'm happy to say that Show was with me and Miss Beast was with me. We had a good one. That's what right. That's what college is about. That's what college is about. Making memories like that. That's good stuff right there.
Oh yeah.
All right, Joe. Last chance. Final words, final shots, final messages. Got anything for them?
Love you guys in the chat. Asses and elbows. That needs to be a t-shirt. There you go, Raj. That one's for free. All right. You can have that one right there. What's on that? What's on the Herb and Rogers show? Asses and elbows. That's what you got, Herb and Rogers. talking about Alabama. Right there. Asses and elbows. Love
That's
you
it,
guys. Man. Love everybody in the chat. Just poking fun at it. If it didn't love you, wouldn't pick fun at you. But yeah, Georgia's going to beat the brakes off of Florida this weekend. Y'all don't worry about it. And I'll see you tomorrow night on the other side of the radio about 7:00.
That's right. Good luck on the call tomorrow night. And I'm just going to leave you, since this is the game of the week, I'm just going to wind it up the way a game of the week between these two teams should be wound up. One more time this week for posterity. Florida. And go Dogs.